to Reverend on the Road, the homestead, but at the daughter's house. I know it's confusing, but anyway, I am at my daughter's house. We don't have an appropriate kitchen currently on the property except for the RV, and you can't do canning on an RV stove. I suppose, I guess you could, but there's no room in that kitchen, so I don't even want to. So I've been doing a lot of canning here at my daughter's house, and today we're canning butter. I've already done a complete 12 little ones. I think those are what you cup size, 8 ounces. 12 of the 8-ounce sizes. They've already been processed, taken back to the property. And so now I'm doing the rest. I like to stock up on butter when it's very inexpensive, and it was very inexpensive some time ago. I put it all in the freezer, but now I have like 30 pounds of butter in the freezer. And we are getting ready for baking season, but I don't need all of that butter in the freezer, so I'm canning some of it, because if we lost electricity, man, that's a lot of butter. So I'm canning it to save it, and you can see what I'm doing here in just a second. First, I'm melting butter from the store, just butter, and I'm melting it down. Now, I thought that what I'd do is I would melt the butter in the glass jars in the microwave. And actually, that's how I did the last batch. And I may have not done that totally correct, but what the heck, you need hot butter. And my thinking is that instead of melting it all and it separating and me having to figure out, each scoop into each every jar, that what I would do is I'd put enough butter in the mason jar, melt it in the microwave, and then when it's all melted and hot, just keep adding more until you get the whole thing melted into the rim. Then I would put the lids on and put it in the pressure cooker. And I think it worked really good, but nobody else has done that I have seen. And so maybe I shouldn't be doing that either. However, I think it's going to work really, really well because it was hot, it was melted, and it was hot, and the hot jars went into the water. And so I don't really see a difference too much in melting the butter in the individual glass jars and keeping it hot in the individual glass jars, or putting it all into a pot and melting it all together and then scooping it into jars. But that's what I'm going to do today, because that's what is mostly done. And so I'm melting it on the stove, and then I'm going to fill sterilized jars. Just that easy. Our family stopped using margarine years ago because margarine is not a good product. For decades, we used margarine because you could get it for really cheap compared to butter, and we were in a place to where really cheap worked well for us. But now, since we're older, we love butter, and even though it's more money than we could get if we were using margarine, it's so much more tasty and healthier than margarine. Margarine has a really bad history on where it came from. And so it's one of those products that you don't really need an abundance of, probably none. Butter, on the other hand, is fairly natural. Of course, I wish we had a cow, in the sense that I would love to have fresh milk and cream and stuff from a cow. I don't want to be the one to milk the cow, so we don't have a cow. I don't think we have enough property for a cow, as a matter of fact. Okay, this is the last of it. I'm just slowly melting it. It's just on low, and it's just slowly melting it because I want to cook the butter. I just want it melted and hot. Okay, time to get the glass jars ready for putting it in. Now, I don't want to burn this butter. It's just on low. It's just melting and getting hot. We're going to just slowly get it hot so it can go in those glass jars. I still have to get them out of the sterilizer. Okay, there you go. Now I'm melting down the butter slowly. It's just slowly on low, melting, and it's going to get hot because I don't want to cook the butter. I just want to melt it and get it hot. Then I'll put it in the nice hot sterile jars, and we'll put it in the canner, which I've got to turn on the water so it can start getting hot as well. So hot and hot go together. I've done 7 pounds. That still leaves quite a bit in the freezer for baking this holiday season. And so we're good to go with that. We'll see how many jars this ends up filling. But if I did 12 jars before, chances are I'm going to do at least that with this 6 pounds. But I don't remember how many pounds I took out the last time. So that's what we're doing. And I think it's going along smoothly. Let's move to the jars. Okay, I've got my nice clean hot jars that have been sterilized, turned upside down so that any water content can continue to drain out of them while I'm waiting on my butter. Okay, I now have my butter up to a lovely little boil. And so let me show you the butter and then we'll start filling. Okay, we got boiling going on. That one is too full. Okay, as you can see, I've made a mess because that's just what I do. So we're going to clean each of the rims of the jars with some vinegar and a dry, clean cloth, and make sure there's no buttery oil on the outside so they get a nice tight seal. Now, I don't think I like doing 6 pounds at a time of butter waiting for it to melt. I think I like doing 1 jar at a time, melting that butter, getting it really good and hot, and then filling 1 jar at a time, putting it into the hot water. I think that would be super swell. And but that's not what I did. So this is what I've done, and we'll just wait and see what happens. It'll be perfectly fine. It's just that it's really hard to know if you're getting them evenly put in with the fats and the ghee and together. And some may have more, some may have less. Because you know how it breaks down. And anyhow, I don't know. We'll just go with it. It'll be good no matter what, even if it is a little bit more ghee versus fats. And so I filled them up. I'm going to clean them up, and then we're going to put the lids on. Okay, now we transfer these jars. That was pretty hot on my hands. We transfer these hot jars into the steamer. Okay, the lid is locked into place. Now we just wait. The reason why we want to wait is because we need all that air to evacuate out of the pressure cooker. So that's what we're waiting for, and that's what we're going to come back to show you in a minute. Okay, the steam is now coming out, and we're going to wait 10 minutes. It's currently 5:47, so at 5:57, we will put the weight on. Okay, It's been 10 minutes, and now we have to wait for the pressure to build on the canner to 10 pounds. And once it builds to 10 pounds, we're going to go 45 minutes. We'll come back at the end of the canning process. But remember, got to build up to 10 pounds, then you start your timer. Okay, with the canner to pressure, we are now starting our timer, and we are going to go 75 minutes. I think I said 45 earlier, and I'm mistaken. So I'm sorry about that if I did. So we're going to go ahead and wait 75 minutes. Okay, well, I forgot to turn the camera on. Thought I did, was talking to you and all. I did all this work, and the camera wasn't on. So basically what I've done is that the pressure cooker came to the end of its time. I turned the oven off, the stovetop off, and just waited. Then, when it came time to where the pressure dropped down to 0, I took the weight off, and then I waited. Because I was talking on the telephone, I waited longer than I needed to, and then I opened up the pressure cooker and I removed the jars. And the jars are sitting here, and I just did it, so you'll see what they look like freshly right out of the pan. Now, as you see, it is separated. There we go. It is separated. What we do is we simply shake it. We mix it up so it's no longer separated. Making sure the jar's lids were tightly on before we did that. And that they had popped and that they're sealed. And so this is popped and it's sealed. And so you got to shake it really good, really good. And as you can see, it's starting to go back together. And you're going to do this every 15 minutes for 2 hours. So that's looking pretty good. Now, it's got a lot of cooling to do. Let me show you what it looks like when it is cooling down. This one right here has a little bit of liquid in it. You can see that it's still kind of liquefied. So you just give it some good shaking going on. Just good shaking going on. And then you leave it sit. And they seem to harden at different time frames. So this one's already hardened. Anyhow, I gotta shake all these jars. And then I gotta shake them every 15 minutes for 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks for watching. We sure appreciate you. Be sure to like and share, press the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel. And we will see you next time on the homestead or in my daughter's kitchen. God bless you. Bye-bye.